10 years, baby. Clap it up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
thank
bud.
you. Yeah,
That's big
appreciate it.
time.
Never thought I'd make it. Never thought I'd make it.
You're here looking good. And with all of that, yesterday was the day that you hit the 10 years. You get a smoke out. You can't even play in the game and celebrate and pimp a homer.
I know,
You
it's
can
day
celebrate.
off. I can't beat that, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, what
A
did
little
you get a
early day
gift?
off.
Did the boys do anything for you in the clubhouse? A cake, a gift, or anything? Did anything happen?
Yeah, man, they gave me I like to golf, so a sweet little golf bag, some Jordan, I think some Jordan 4 golf shoes, a
Ooh.
couple bottles of whiskey, and had a good little speech, little Finnegan put some stats out there and things like that. So it was really cool. It was awesome for those guys to really do that for me.
Bravo, well done.
That's sweet, man.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. So then give me the next layer. Do you celebrate with the fam? Do you take some of your teammates out and be like, yo, let's toast to this, and also kind of give them the motivation of hopefully hitting that mark too, because you're playing with a lot of young guys over there in DC.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my family, I got 3 kids. I got an 8-year-old boy, 5-year-old boy, and 2-year-old little girl, and they came to the ballpark, hung out with me a little bit. But yeah, there's a bunch of young guys on this team. I've always tried to pride myself in the way I am as a teammate. So trying to help somebody else, try to lead the way. So I look forward to, definitely doing a lot of dinners with these guys. It's kind of crazy. Yesterday we got in early and they already had stuff planned, but look forward to doing something, celebrate a little bit with a few of the guys. The age difference in this clubhouse is a little different.
Now you're in New York?
We're in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta. Oh, sorry, I had that
Yep.
confused.
Yep.
Hey, question for you. From playing against you from all these years, I remember you had that swing. I said nasty swinging, which means good. In part, you would always get after. You were ferocious. You would attack the ball. And then as you got older, I saw when I'm playing third, I'm like, oh shit! You developed this 2-strike approach where you would
Yeah.
widen your base and you wouldn't move nothing, and it was just all hands. And I remember one at bat, you might have fouled like 10, 15 pitches off. I'm like, this son of a b. I mean, put the damn thing in play, and then you did, and you hit one off the wall. So talk to me about your approach in hitting for all the young kids out there. 2-strike hitting for one, and for two, the adjustments you need to make day in and day out.
Yeah, man. You know how it is. But early in my career, it was awesome. I never really thought about swing mechanics. So especially coming up with Tulo and all those guys, they were always super aggressive. And when I got caught up and made it up, I just, man, attacked the ball, attacked the zone, and was very rhythmic. And the older I got, I got big into mechanics, and that kind of hurt me a little bit. But I've always been so competitive. A lot of people don't know anything about my history or my past. Like I've had tore my labrum, my bicep, had anchors, tore it again, never did a rehab. Played with my shoulder, basically still tore, and just grinding my way, to play every single day. And so, like, my will to win is what developed that 2-strike approach. It was like, man, I'd rather foul off 10 balls, hit a ball to you than strike out. Like, I hate giving that guy the gratification of striking me out. So that's when I kind of developed in the big leagues, it used to be choke up a little. Now it's like these guys are so good. I spread out, no leg kick, and try to up my percentages. I just weigh everything. And a bunch of these guys on the team have picked it up, and Lane Thomas, Dominic, and it's really helped them out. Just showing them what I do and what I think during those times. I might go to it. If a guy's on third and I'm facing Kershaw, why would I take my ace swing when my ace swing's probably not going to match up to that guy? And so I can up my percentages and say if my contact rate is like a 50, 60%, with my 2-strike approach, why not get 3 chances at it?
I love that. The competing part, that's how you get 10 years. That's when I reached out to you, like for 10 years, guys, I reached out to him and he was like, he goes, man, just exactly what he said. He goes, I can't believe I got it. It's been a grind.
Yeah.
Like, what are you more pissed about? You missing your bicep session right now, or the fact that you've only made one All-Star game in your career?
Shoot, man. Yeah, that's kind of both. Yeah, like I think like I threw like when I was 16, I threw 93. Played shortstop, never played outfield in my life. I had a surgery and went to a hitting camp, had a surgery or whatever, hurt it there, had a surgery, and I was playing football 2 months later. And I never rehabbed it or anything. So I had to learn how to play the outfield when I went to college and pro ball and wound up finding out it's still tore and all that. But I really think I might not be where I am today if I, you know, was never hurt because I wouldn't have had to grind as hard or focus as hard on hitting. So I don't know. But the All-Star game stuff, yeah, man, that's always been like it's so hard to make it. People don't understand. Like unless you have a name, it's so hard to make it. Even in 17 when I made it, I was hitting like I don't know, like 330 with 13 or so, and Nelson Cruz was 300 with 8 or so, and it was like he was blowing me out of the water in both. It was like, man, I might not even get in. And so it's always, as a competitor, you always want to those awards and things like that. But I really it's the grind every day I love.
All right. So, have you ever heard the misnomer, or do you believe it's true? You're from the SIP.
Yep.
That hitters from the SIP never really pan out. You've heard that from scouts? Because I had a scout tell me that, and I was like, I heard that after I was done playing. And why do you think they would say something like that?
Maybe just the same reason why there's not a ton of athletes out of that area. There's so many athletes, but you don't get to face great talent, or like if you don't go to a SEC school, like you might not get seen, or like if you go to a small junior college like me, or you might get overlooked, and they'll just like keep their eye on you and make sure you're still there, and like kind of keep you hidden, things like that. But I don't know why that stigma would be. Maybe because baseball isn't year round. It is now, but like when I was growing up, it's nothing like Florida and Georgia and California, where kids are more interested in football, basketball in Mississippi than just baseball.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever gotten compared to Lance Nix? Because you, like, every
Lance
time I
Nix,
see
no.
you, yeah, you look just
No.
your body type, your face,
Yeah,
the way your hair is, dude. You and Lance Nix just looked exactly like each other. You guys had almost simultaneously the same swing.
Yep.
But you guys see that or no? Am I just
Oh,
seeing
for
things?
sure. Big old
Absolutely,
muscles,
yeah.
the same smile. Absolutely. Yeah, just a chiseled jawline. Love it.
We got to find a
Shoot.
picture like that. So when I played with Pittsburgh, I was the oldest guy on the team by 4 or 5 years for the month I was there or whatever. But you've been there for a lot longer now. Being a veteran guy, do you find it more that we talked about earlier? But do you feel like you're leading a younger generation more on that team, or do you find you sit back and you're just watching a little bit more?
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm evolving so much. You grow I'm so much different than when I was 24, and that's the hard thing is like you can't balance both. You got to be. That's what makes a superstar. A superstar is like you got to be sold out on being selfish. I mean, this game is what it is, and to be good at anything, you got to be, completely locked in. And as I have a family and things like that, I get a lot of joy out of helping somebody else's vessel. Being able to, have a unique way of saying something or seeing something to be able to translate to these kids, to be able to see and put it into play is unique and joyful. I think that's more lasting than, say making an all-star game or something very personal that you work hard for. It's just like winning anything. It's just, you got to wake up and do it again the next day. It's tiring. It's exhausting. Yeah, you reap the benefits of getting money and things like that, but helping other people, the true joy that you get from that, there's nothing better.
Hey, I'm looking back doing some reflecting. I mean, this is only, I think, 2020 or 2021. I remember I wrote this down because it stood out. Adam Wainwright was talking about you in the playoffs, and tell me if this rings a bell. And he was throwing a Vladdy comp for the way he said you'll expand the zone, and then it'll help you get. He said it'll help to get knocks. Is that ringing a bell? Was there a playoff? Who was it? Cardinals. Was that Marlins in 2020?
I mean, we played the Cubs and then Atlanta in the playoffs.
Oh,
but
he was on the
Waino
broadcast.
He was on the broadcast. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
because I was like, when did they play them? So,
Yeah.
so you know what I'm talking about? I mean, you can say it better than I can, but I want you to talk about what Waino was saying, because I thought that was, you hear like, oh, Corey Dickerson's Vladdy. I'm like, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just who you are as a hitter. Like sometimes you can try to, like, you know what certain teams are going to do to you, certain pitchers, and you can almost, like for me, if you watch me in my career, I've toe tapped, I've leg kicked, I've nose stride. I can just kind of think, and my body kind of does what my brain tells me to do, and unique things like that. That's really helped me out in my career. But also, if you get away from being who you are and not like that super aggressive that I am, then I start becoming a shell of myself. So, like, I do hit balls outside the zone. I do make contact outside the zone. So, yeah, I'm not looking to swing at a ball 3 balls outside, but also I do get hits that way. And if I try to like zone it in, me and Goldschmidt had a long conversation about this. I think you have to kind of grow up taking pitches. You have to grow up taking a lot of pitches, taking your walks in high school, college. That is not really learned at the big league level. I think you're too late at that level to really be an elite, to be an MVP type guy and be able to take balls like that. So it really messes up with my approach whenever I try to be somebody else than what I am. Like for example, like I can do different things. I remember Kidness. Shoot, I think you might remember this game. I hit 2 homers off Salazar, and I was struggling. Not bad, but I had like 5 Ks out of 6 at bats or something like that. I went in the cage and I opened my stance up and hitting these lefty breaking balls, and I was like, man, this feels amazing. I struck out my first at bat, doing my regular thing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this new stance. Man, I hit 6 homers in 5 days, I think, and just take off. And that was like my swing all year in 17 and made the All-Star team. Just listening to what my body says.
I mean, that's you just sorry, Chris. That's you just
No, you're good.
constantly. That's the warrior in you. That's you finding any way to succeed. You're going to try something different. You're going to listen to what your body's telling you, and if something's not working, you're going to find a way to make it work that day. I mean, obviously, you're just looking at you and your build. You're first off, how's the calf feeling, and secondly, how have you adjusted the way you take care of your body as you've gotten older and you realize maybe, hey, it's not so much lifting weights; it might be a little bit more stretching now.
Yeah, man. So that's funny too, because like I said, not a lot of people know much about me. But like in 16, I got traded over to Tampa, and I was DHing. And first time traded, I was like, man, I got to prove myself and things like that. Man, I woke up one day early in the year, and I couldn't sleep, like my back killing me. I was having to sleep on a hardwood floor at night. I wound up finding out I had 2 bulging discs in my back, sciatica down my leg. I got up to 230 that year because I was coming off plantar fascia the year before. So I'm going to the field every day, taking 4 pills a day, like a Scalaxin, Voltaren, pain bone stimulator after BP, and I don't miss a beat, don't miss a game, and I'm struggling. I'm hitting 190 in June, but I'm still hitting some homers or whatever. Chad Matola comes over. I get my average back up to 240 and finish with 24, but I'm hurting. Like I'm miserable. Well, at the end of the year, they just like tell me to go home. No pills, nothing. And I realized like right then, like either I'm going to be done, I'm going to have surgery and never play again. And talking to Justin Morneau, he's like, dude, never have surgery, whatever. So I go full force into like the book, The Supple Leopard, Tom Brady's book, all this stuff, and I lose 30 pounds that year, get rid of all my back pain. I start doing a bunch of soft tissue work, trigger point stuff, and I made the All-Star team the next year and then the Gold Glove the next year. And I'm really getting obsessed with like the whole Tom Brady method slash Kelly Starrett, the Becoming a Supple Leopard book, and just learning how to fix myself. And my career kind of took another, turn at that point, just realizing every day that you wake up, you guys know you don't feel 100%. I might be at 50%, but I know all these different modalities, these joint manipulations, trigger point therapy, hot and cold tubs, all those different things to get me to a certain level to that hour before the game to where your mind kind of shifts and things like that. So I never judge myself when I wake up. So that's kind of like my progression with the whole body thing and just staying in shape and listening to my body and how it feels.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's working, obviously. So, and it's important for people to know about that stuff. And I also wanted to see when you reflect back, your thoughts were about when you really had more adversity with the Rays after you had some success there. And then when you moved on, I remember multiple teammates back then when I spoke to them were like, man, Dickerson's going to have a chip on his shoulder after that situation too. You watch, right?
Yeah, I always had a chip on my shoulder. I mean, I had an older brother always used to hold me down, beat me up, and things like that. So I always grinded from when I was really young. Just loved to compete, and if I play you in ping pong and try to beat you, like even if I suck. And yeah, man, when I got DFA'd, I still remember that day writing stuff down, like what I felt and stuff like that, and going into that, saying I couldn't hit the high fastball is the reason why I got DFA'd or something like that. So that's the reason why I really started choking up and stuff like that. I went in the top of the league, I think, that year, high fastball, to try to prove a point. And then got to win the Gold Glove, which was cool. But at the end of the year, our GM came up to me and was like, "Man, we would rather you try to hit a homer early in the counter, early in the game, than just get a single." I was like, "Man, you could have told me that back in May and not September." Yeah, I'm hitting 300, but I'm not, hitting pumps and things like that. But yeah, that definitely motivated me. It just like it made you almost see baseball in a different light. You love the game, but then you get to the dirty business side of it, and you're like, dang, man, it can it can make you mad and kind of have different thoughts about it too.
Hey, I got a fan question for you. New Country Song says, can you ask Corey how he and other hitters prepare for a starter that's only thrown about 120 innings or so, most of it in the low minors? So, and they're talking about tonight, right? So, and this guy throws gas. Smith Shorver, I think. He's only pitched once, and I saw it when I was watching the game with 6 screens going on, so I didn't even say how they say his name, but dude comes up from Atlanta, and he's another one of those arms. I mean, Atlanta's got many of them, right? So how do you prepare? Because you're a great prep guy. Like, how do you figure that out when obviously they don't have any ways to show you how he is attacking big leaguers aside from an inning or two?
They'll have his tape though, right? They'll have his last start or something.
Yeah, they'll have his tape. I always joke around with guys and say, does he have a heater down the middle? Like I'm sitting dead red heater, sometimes like make sure my timing. I'm more about like arm action. Like there's guys like Drew Pomerantz used to blow my doors off. He's throwing 94, but it feels like 98. And it would be because of his arm, like his slot, like the way he takes the ball back, how quick does it come out of his hand, things like that. That's what I'm looking at. Like, how is my rhythm matched up with him? And if I can get my rhythm down, that's where it go back to Adam Wainwright. Like I'm my best self whenever my rhythm is right and I'm on time. I can adjust to the breaking stuff. I just got to be ready for the heater. So a guy like that, you don't put any more film work in it. Like if I watch too much film, I'm like, oh, this guy's getting pounded in. He's going to pound me in. Then they might not even pound me in, but I'm thinking in. So it can really dome you up in a way. at least for me. So I try to keep it simple and just really look at their arm angle and see their action.
I love that. That's you and I had two similarities right there that I just heard you say. As does he have a fastball? Yeah. Well, then I got my approach.
Mm,
And if I'm right, and then it usually doesn't matter what they're throwing. And I'm hearing it with
it's
you.
usually
If I got my
accidents.
timing right, it doesn't matter what pitch or where they're throwing it. I like that because then you can just focus on yourself. You're not they're
Mhm.
playing them up to be something they're not, or worrying about an out pitch and this count. You're just like, okay, I know if I'm going good, hands on the fastball, and stay balanced for the off speed, you got it down.
100%. Most of the time when you're like, don't swing at the high fastball, or don't chase the slider in the dirt, you're chasing the slider in the dirt. 100%. So it's like, you know, man, just go up there and have your timing down. Rhythm and timing is hitting. And that's period. I don't care if it's off a machine. If you can be rhythmic and you can be on time, and that's where like people separate themselves because hand and eye coordination all works with your rhythm and timing. So to maximize mine, I just try to be synced up with this guy. The one thing I do now um, is, does this guy have hop? Now, if this guy has hop, I'll choke up, which makes my bat flatter, which now I'm on plane longer, and I'm shorter to the ball. Now, if this guy has a sinker, got more sink, then I'll put my pinky on the knob, the barrel drops more, I'll ride that zone longer that way. So it just depends on, his fastball.
If you point the bat backwards, it's already flat and as short as you
That's
can.
true.
So I mean,
That's
just try it.
true.
I'm just saying.
You got pointed like
You might give him. Hey,
Don't. Just don't go down that
I
rabbit hole.
probably
You don't
tried
want
it.
to.
I've probably tried it. I
Yeah.
guarantee you I've tried it.
He's tried a lot.
I've tried
right?
it all.
Yeah.
I've tried it
That's
all.
what got you to 10, though. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations, dude.
Man.
Congrats,
Thank
Corey.
you, guys.
Awesome. Great to have you on, man. And yeah, congrats. Enjoy it and go get him tonight. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Appreciate that, guys.
Cheers, man.
Good
We'll see you on
luck.
the field soon.
Yeah. Thank you.